Pecha Kucha 163, Stumptown and Unshakeable. So Stumptown is a detective story drawn by Matthew Southworth, written by Greg Rucka. I saw it in the library. I've read some of Greg Rucka's stuff. I thought, I want to see if he's consistently as good as he was with the Wonder Woman stuff. I'm happy to say he is. I think this book's published by Oni Press. It's a big book. It's hardback. I very much enjoy it, although I don't know if I would pay the asking price. Hardback comic books are they don't come cheap. So the main character is called Dex. It's short for some weird name that I don't remember. The foreword talks about this in depth. It's written by Matt Fraction, who is a famous comic book writer in his own regard. I haven't had the pleasure of reading, I think, anything he's written, but he talks about how the detective in this is like a throwback to 70s TV shows before all the science of CSI. She just gets by on her guts. And apparently in the back there was a lot of interesting stuff made to kind of promote Stumptown as a book, like a little mini comic and a magnifying glass so you could read it, and various other quote-unquote artifacts of Stumptown. So I'm actually starting with the bonus material at the back, which really does encapsulate the character of the main character, who has a old 70s style car. It's broken. She can't afford to get it replaced, so she makes a deal with the mechanic, who she's known for a long time, to basically get him a car back that a different customer sort of ran off without paying for. And so as she's chasing the money, she finds out that the husband has left his soon-to-be ex-wife destitute. So now she's a woman on a mission, doubly so, to get revenge on this guy, because she's not going to go after the wife. And what she effectively does is just everything he's doing, she sneaks into and ruins, from a trip to the cinema to his work, his promotion at work. She finds a way to screw everything up. It's almost like a comedy sketch show, but it's great. And in the end, he capitulates, gives the car back, but it turns out, in that kind of here we go again way, that the brakes on her car are shot, so she's got to do something else in the future. And that really does sum up who she is. She's always up in someone's business. She's never making ends meet. And when she actually, at the start of the comic proper, she's being pulled out of the boot of a car to be effectively shot and left to float down the river, making quips and trying to work her way out of this every step of the way. Obviously, she doesn't die on page 2. So then in that Tarantino way, it flashes back. She's, puts a bet on in the casino. She loses, and then she gets escorted to the manager's office. All the while, it's very obvious that the people she's talking to do know who she is, and that she has a habit of doing things like this. So the manager of the casino says that one of her granddaughters is missing, and she'll waive the debt that Dex owes to the casino in exchange for bringing back her granddaughter safely. So this is effectively the crux, the mystery of this book. Dex then goes to find out what she can. She gets, when she leaves the hotel room of the victim, she gets assaulted by 2 local heavies, and who warn her off. And then when she recovers, she gets kidnapped by another couple of heavies who take her somewhere else. And this is exactly her life. She's always in the middle of something she shouldn't be in. And the second set of heavies work for a shady dude who is a local businessman, but is also mixed up in some shady drug stuff, no doubt, a la, Tony Soprano. And he wants Dex to find the same person she's already looking for, but to tell him what's going on. And while this is going on, there's a supporting cast of characters. Dex has a younger brother who has Down syndrome, who's, just wants to play Call of Duty and chill the fuck out. And so she's got to manage all the stuff, all the debts she can't pay, as well as looking after him, making sure he's okay. There's also, this guy who's kind of looking after her brother, who is kind of like the fill-in love interest, except it's kind of like a one-way thing. Dex is too busy fucking shit up to actually realize there's this really nice guy in her life who's kind of potential husband material. and Wise Deck's a detective and no longer on the police force because she's kind of it's implicitly explained in a scene where she's following up leads after being arrested and gets out of the arrest because she knows the police. There's very, very strong grounds for a TV show here. I would read much, much more of that stuff if I can get my hands on it. I don't know if there is any more, but yeah, Stumptown, excellent stuff. So Unshakeable by Tony Robbins is a book about how to win your financial freedom by reading one easy book and following his step-by-step guide. It's shameless sales patter, and it's written in such a way where I don't know how else to put it. It assumes I'm American and that I need to be led by the hand and that I'm also simultaneously outraged and gullible. The book isn't completely full of nothing but nonsense. There's decent financial advice in there. He does kind of explain the difference between mutual bonds and, why you shouldn't invest in gold and blah, blah, blah. There are things that are clearly not just opinions, so I don't regret reading it, but there are some things he says there's a lot of things he says that you can tell is just sales power, because he does try to sell me two separate books while I'm reading this. And actually, Sad Clown of the Week is what he says about Robin Williams. He talks towards the end of the book about how happiness isn't really linked to your finances beyond when you can pay your bills. And he speaks about Robin Williams and how he did everything and everybody, he's a very popular guy, and in the end, when he died, he didn't go out he went out on his own terms, but not as a happy guy. So even though he had the money and he had the popularity, you need really to be thankful for what you have, because sometimes life throws curveballs. I kind of wish he hadn't brought it up. I'm not really sure he made the point he was trying to. And it's kind of a bad end to a book that was of questionable worth in the first place. Effectively, what the book is about is how to play the stock market without making a fool, and how to win when other people lose. And I think there's a fair amount of useful information in there, but yeah, no, I will not be buying any other. Well, I haven't bought any Tony Robbins books, and I'm not interested in starting. So that brings us to the end of Pecha Kucha 163, and I will see you next time.